Greetings, my fellow nerds and xenomorphs. It's Nick from ASC Comics here, welcoming you to Sci-Fi Sundays, where we bring you the most iconic and amazing science fiction from around the universe.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great week as what seems to be the end of this coronavirus outbreak. I think it's finally closing down, coming at hopefully a halt, and we can get back to normal. Get everything reopened again, and you start going to movies in the theater and start sitting down for meals and actually going to a restaurant. That'd be pretty nice. But in the meantime, I've enjoyed the time at home, cooking and hanging out and doing stuff. I wish I had my sports on, but we don't always get what we want. Isn't that right, everybody? I hope everybody's families are doing good. Everything's going well. Like I said in my previous podcast, try to take that time and relax and hang out. Work on the projects you may have put aside for 5, 6, 7, 10 years in your closets, and bring it out, bust out that old novel you were working on, bust out those old drawings. You started to draw and then you never finished. Bust out that instrument. Play guitar in 5 years. Jump on it. Play those old songs. You might impress someone someday. Someone that hears you. First off, we got advertisements. Ads, everybody. Come get your ads. Free ads over here. ASC Supplements. Sometimes we don't have the energy or motivation to work out. Other times, it's just a lack of results that drop our motivation. This is where our products fit into your journey. ASC provides premium products and premium experience. With awards including FDN, Top 10 STEM and Non-STEM, free pre-workout of 2019, and Supplement Engineer Top 10 Tasting EAA of 2019, it's a no-brainer. And exclusively for the month of April, ASC is giving our listeners, that's right, my listeners, 20% off any purchase in their store. Use promo code ZIAC67, ZIAC67 at the checkout. Guys, jump on that opportunity. 20% off is a huge discount. Their stuff's already relatively cheap as is, so I've been on this pre-workout the last couple of weeks. It's very, very good. I got their non-stem, so it's even stimulant-free, which is crazy because every pre-workout's got immense levels of caffeine and all that crazy stuff in it. But even their stem-free is really, really good. Kept me pumped the entire workout, at least an hour, probably an hour and a half. However long your workouts usually are, they'll keep you pumped the entire time, and you'll get results and gain muscle and lose that fat that we are all trying to trim and get rid of. So jump on ASC, get their stem or their stem-free, up to you, whatever you like better. Usually I'm a stem guy. I just want to try their stem-free and see how it was, and it turned out it was very, very good. So jump on it. It's only about a week and a half longer that we give this 20% off discount. So get on their store, see what they got. They also have stacks if you guys are interested in stacks or whatnot, merchandise, etc. Go check them out. Charities. I'm proud to announce ASC Comics donates a portion of all sales to our valued charities. We have the Fisher House Foundation.
Staying at a hotel is not the same thing as staying at the Fisher House.
The Fisher House, I know, is a huge part of Lane's recovery.
For somebody like my husband, for them to know that their family members are being taken care of, that's a huge burden off of them, so they can concentrate on their therapies.
Just having that assurance that no matter what, as long as we were there for Anson, that someone would be there to take care of us. It took so much weight off our shoulders.
How can you help? Go to fisherhouse.org.
Go check them out. The legendary Loot of 1,000 Worlds inspires an intergalactic treasure hunt when 15-year-old Jim Hawkins stumbles upon a map to the great pirate trove in the universe. In Walt Disney Pictures' thrilling animated space adventure, in this episode of Sci-Fi Sunday, we venture into Treasure Planet. The film opens up with a narrative which introduces us to deep space, where merchant ships sail on solar winds, transporting valuable cargo. However, their journeys are not without danger, as one of them is attacked by a small pirate ship commanded by the notorious Captain Nathaniel Flint, a pirate who vanished without a trace after each heist, and was rumored to have stashed his loot on the mysterious Treasure Planet. The image of Flint's alien face is soon seen by a holographic image on the storybook of young Jim Hawkins. So this is actually a pretty cool invention they got. Coming out in the first scene, Treasure Planet, he opens up, he being Jim Hawkins, this little kid opens up the book, just a storybook, and they have all this 3D imagery and ships flying in his face and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. They had basically a mini projector inside the book, which is also a really cool invention. There's plenty of inventions in this movie, and I'd like to go over those for sure as we jump into it. So he sees images of Flint. Flint's this weird bug-looking pirate / spider, whatever you want to say. He's got like 6 eyes going up his head. But, evil Disney character. What are you going to expect? Anyway, this guy's Robin. He vanishes with his ship, and it's just, it's a legend. And then Jim goes to talk to his mom, like, hey, we gotta go to Treasure Planet, it's so cool. And then she says basically a legend, when he was a kid, so kind of kills his enthusiasm like some others do. So she runs this little bed and breakfast kind of situation, restaurant on their planet. Another great invention is right out the gate we get Jim going through a canyon on this solar powered basically surfboard. Really, really sweet invention. He hits he jumps out of the canyon and it hits the side, hits the side of the sun and gets all the energy, and then he blasts off. It's pretty sweet. It's also like half a glider, so you get that gliding motion with some type of propelling energy on the end of it, which is pretty awesome. Also, the ships in this are all solar powered based on their sails, so they all catch the light from the sun and it generates power and allows the ships to go, light speed or different planets and whatnot. Very, very cool inventions, very, very cool ideas. A lot of these ideas are based on some formidable amount of science, so not just crazy Disney ideas as some other movies. So a super old pirate comes, and it's basically a pirate story. We already know this. It's Treasure Planet. It's based off Treasure Island. Same type of story. So you get this young Jim. So after that initial scene in the beginning where he's a child, about 6 years old, like talking to his mom, story moves on and it flashes into, his teenage years. He's about 15, 16 years old. So he's getting in trouble. He's basically a juvenile. He gets in trouble with the cops, speeding, whatnot, doing illegal behavior, illegal activity, kind of degenerate activity. But anyway, she gets mad at him. His dad left a long time ago, so basically she's a single mother raising him. And like I said, they live in this bed and breakfast. One night, this old pirate crashes down in like some kind of little spacecraft. And he's dying, and he says, don't trust a cyborg. And he's basically like on his deathbed when he talks to Jim. Jim doesn't get that much information. And he hands Jim this map, the map is basically an orb. So if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, they have the orb, essentially the same kind of thing, it looks just like that, and it's a map to Treasure Planet. So he goes back in, and they open this up, and they figure out how to open it, and it opens up the map, which is basically, map's a little sphere, the size of a baseball, maybe a little bigger. They open it up, and then it expands like a giant projector, 3D projector showing the entire universe and every route and every planet and which direction they can travel, all their routes and star systems, etc. So they look at it and they find treasure planet on the map. So he's super excited. Of course, he's been obsessing with this for about, his entire life, really. Talks to his mom. His mom thinks he's crazy. They have a doctor friend, which is also very zany, goofy. Basically, Goofy was a professor, and they threw him in this movie. That's what Disney did. But he talks to the doctor, talks to his mom. His mom's like, "No, you're crazy. It's a myth. It's not there. It's a legend. You're not gonna find shit. It's empty, void of space. You're gonna go die." And then the professor's like, "Oh, why not? I guess he's pretty suicidal. He just wants to go out in space and try to find this mysterious planet with no credible evidence that it actually exists." But either way, it's a Disney movie. Can't get too analytical in this, but Professor agrees to go with him, and because the Professor agrees to take him, his mom is all of a sudden okay with, which is pretty bad parenting, if you would ask me. But she's like, "All right, go, whatever. Millions of light years away. I don't want you to live," is basically what she said. So pirate gang comes and tries to retrieve this map, and he sees them coming, and they burn down the bed and breakfast, and they get away on this little spacecraft, and then they go to the spaceport. So this professor, doctor, I guess he's rich as well. He's an astronomer, I don't know. He's like 8,000 different things, but he commissions a ship and crew of Belfast, the harbor, which resembles the size and shape of a crescent moon. So the spaceport is actually another great idea from this movie. Spaceport's got all these ships coming in and out, just like a port, seaport, same thing. It's shaped like a moon, which is also really cool. And this movie uses a lot of 3D imagery to project its ideas while mixing that traditional Disney animation. It's one of the first movies to do this and actually do it successfully. There's a lot of movies that have tried it, and it doesn't turn out that great, and it looks really cheesy and really weird. But this movie really understands having the 3D in the background and the foreground, and then mixing it appropriately with the correct animation and the correct tools. So they get on the ship, they meet the crew, they meet all these weird, crazy people. They meet Morph, which Morph is this little crazy blob of, I don't even know what you call it. It looks like Flubber. If Flubber was like a baseball-sized thing and it has like eyes, and it's a cheesy, funny, zany, maybe not zany, but the cheesy character of Disney, like the really over-the-top happy dog. That's what Morph is. That's what I think Morph is, because he's not super intelligent. He also morphs into different things. It's kind of cool. So he morphs into different tools and different people and kind of mimics people. So he's that traditional Disney comic relief. It's pretty funny. So they meet the captain. The captain's this cat-like female character. She's pretty cool. She's super intelligent, as a captain should be. So they meet John Silver. John Silver is a cyborg. And they initially meet John Silver as the cook. So he's a chef, and he has a robotic arm and leg. So he uses his robotic arm to kind of, cut up vegetables and make this stew and whatnot as they watch him. Also, a super cool invention. Traditional cyborg. Cyborg's been around for a long time, but it's kind of combined with this older pirate, which is a pretty cool idea. So then we saw this people. The rest of the crew is kind of your basic crazy Disney pirate people. That's really, there's a giant spider. There's a couple dudes that are just jacked out of their mind, like The Rock, like walking around like, duh, why'd you hit me? Like that kind of shit. A typical pirate movie anyway. Just like Pirates of the Caribbean, same kind of shit. But the other one would probably have to be the co-captain, or what's the word? Yeah, I forgot his exact position, but he's basically the second in charge. It's this giant rock-looking guy, and he looks like the thing from Fantastic Four, and he has a pirate hat, which is Disney, about as Disney as you can get. But he's also a very stern member of the crew, second in command of the captain. So Jim's kind of taken under this cyborg's wing. The cyborg shows him around. He's basically the crew member, the shipmate, I think they call him. But he goes around, scrubs his deck, cleans all the dishes, learning how to become a crew member under the cyborg's wing, basically. So this goes on for a while. Eventually, Jim finds out that basically eavesdrops into what they're saying, and he finds out that the crew is planning a mutiny against the captain. They don't like the captain. And also, he's planning on finding Treasure Planet and stealing all the treasure. So the mutiny is led by the cyborg, or John Silver. John Silver's trying to control the ship and then go to the Treasure Planet and take all the treasure and basically be a pirate, essentially. I believe this captain is part of their space force thing, whatever you want to call it. So she's actually part of the government. And then I think, the crew is all pirates. So, this weird mutiny on their hands. So Jim, this crazy... This has been typecast a long time, but the scene where he sees, John Silver talking crap to him, or about him, rather. And John Silver just says, I don't like the kid, and then his whole crew thinks he's going soft, and he's like, I don't care about the kid, I just want the gold. I want the treasure. We can toss him overboard, whatever he says. So this happens, and then they have the mutiny. And basically trying to get the map from Jim because he knows he has the map. And they have kind of a little shootout on the ship. And they escape on a secondary ship. It's on the side of the bow, and they jump off with the captain, the professor, and Jim. And then before Jim jumps on the ship, Morph and the map are both entangled in this rope. And Morph actually resembles the map, so Jim grabs Morph, unknowingly, turns around when he's confronted by John, and runs out. So John Silver believes he has the map, he jumps in, and then once they crash land onto the planet after being shot at, he pulls out the map, and it is revealed to be Morph. So they crash on this ship, and they meet a robot. So I'm actually just reading this for the first time. I didn't know this, but his name is Ben, Bioelectronic Navigator, which he says in the movie. But it's voiced by Martin Short, which is actually pretty cool. If you guys don't know who Martin Short is, he is a old popular comedian in the 1980s and 90s. He was in Three Amigos with Steve Martin. Very, very funny guy. They're actually still touring. Martin Short and Steve Martin are pretty hilarious if you get a chance to check them out. But Ben, which is a super zany, crazy, over the top, probably the most crazy over the top Disney character in this, which is saying a lot because it's Disney and they have Morph. But Ben is super funny. He's been living on this planet kind of in solitude by himself, and he's super excited to finally see somebody, finally meet people. And his cerebral cortex, or his artificial intelligence, has been kind of fried, so he's missing his CPU. He can't really remember or recall certain events from his past. And also, he basically has ADHD, so it makes it for a goofy Disney adventure. So what seems to be a parlay, which they never say parlay in this movie, which is kind of funny. Like I figured they would say parlay or mention parlay. They never mention it, which is weird. Like I was waiting for that. It's like they're gonna do a parlay. They never do a parlay. But I guess there's no parlay in the future. Who knows? But so he comes. John Silver comes down, and they're kind of staying in this robot's tree thing, whatever it is, like this molded over formation that he lives in. But John Silver comes down, and he wants to talk to Jim, and Jim goes out there and wants to talks to him about certain things. They're trying to make a deal, and Jim basically says go kick rocks, and then the pirate gets super mad. So they're staking out outside of the rock formation, waiting, for it says if they leave, he's going to shoot them, and he has till the morning to give them the map. Which I don't know why they didn't just kill him. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's Disney. So they steal one of the little gliders from the pirates, and they go up to the main ship where the treasure map is still being held, and go to turn off the laser cannons and all that stuff, which they send Ben to do this. Ben can barely function, which is another huge misstep. Don't take a barely functioning robot on your side mission to disable a giant intergalactic spaceship. You don't want to do that. That doesn't make any sense. So on board, they still have a couple pirates on board on the main ship. So Jim runs into the pirate, the spider pirate, whatever you want to call him. His name is Scroop, apparently. Yeah, Mr. Scroop or some shit. But he's got really crazy teeth, and he looks like a crazy-ass lobster spider thing. Jim eventually overpowers him, and with the anti-gravity off and on. That's another cool invention in this movie. There's anti-gravity on each ship, so they can turn it off or turn it on. Once they leave the atmosphere, they turn on the anti-gravity, and then once they get back into the atmosphere, they turn it off. So it is to simulate gravity on the spaceship, but they never explain how they actually breathe in the void of space. But it's Disney. So they grab the map, go back to the hideout, and unbeknownst to them, their entire, well, I guess it's not really entire crew, but your captain and the professor have been tied up, and John Silver's in there. So they do a little more talking and whatnot, and Jim's the only one, apparently, that knows how to open the orb or the map, and does it with no problem, but none of the pirates can open it, so I don't know why. But anyway, Jim basically blackmails him like, hey, you're going to take me to the treasure or we're not going to find it. We're not going to go there. So John Silver reluctantly takes his entire crew with him, both crews, and they go and try to find this treasure. And they find a place where the map goes, and they place it inside this ancient computer rock, I guess you could say. And it opens up this orb, this portal, and the portal connects to basically every single spaceport and a bunch of different planets and different areas where it's basically Stargate. If you've seen the movie Stargate, it's basically a Stargate. But it would have allowed the Captain Flint, who hid all this treasure, to travel from spaceport to spaceport and planet to planet completely unnoticed while stealing all the treasure and putting it back on Treasure Planet. And the center of the orb, which is 3D projected, they click on Treasure Planet or touch Treasure Planet, and then it opens up Treasure Planet on this triangular formed orb, or this, whatever, Stargate. They go through the Stargate and they see all this treasure, but little do they know that it's been booby-trapped, which, have you seen Indiana Jones, kids? Obviously, it's going to be booby-trapped. There's $10 bajillion worth of gold there. There's going to be a couple of booby traps. It's a pirate stash. It's going to be trapped, all right? And before this, though, Jim finds Captain Flint, all bones and dust, and walks up, and Captain Flint's holding the CPU for Ben in his hand. So he takes CPU, plugs it into Ben, and Ben's all zany and crazy again. Once more, we get Crazy Martin Short being crazy, which I never connected. That's pretty cool. Also, the voice for Jim is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So he sounds a little bit different because he was like 19, I think, when they shot this, or when they did this movie. But yeah, one of his first performances was voice acting in Treasure Planet. Pretty cool. Anyway, finds CPU, plugs into Ben. Ben's like, oh shit, I remember everything. And he quickly informs them that it's booby-trapped after the place is on fire and collapsing. So, after a series of them jumping over flames and the pirate crew getting incinerated and all the gold and treasure being lost, they finally get on this ship. Or Jim finally restarts the Captain Flint ship inside the tomb, basically, and tries to escape. It ends up being John Silver on the ship as well, and it gets hit by some flames and kind of flips on its side. And then Jim gets kind of tossed across into this crevasse, and he's holding on this side of the wall. So John Silver has to make a moral decision. He's in a little bit of a pickle, a little bit of a moral dilemma there, John, old Johnny boy. So he's holding on to the ship, so he can either let his treasure go, or he can go and save Jim. So he ultimately decides to let his treasure go, and then he jumps and saves Jim. And then they eventually get out onto the ship with the rest of the crew, the rest of their guys, the captain and whatnot, and they try to start to leave, and their ship gets kind of torn up, so they only have 30% power, 30% energy, so they don't have enough power to get outside of the atmosphere before the planet explodes due to Captain Flint's rigged treasure. So Jim has the shocking idea to turn around and hit the portal and change the location of the portal so they go somewhere else safely, which he kind of jerry-rigs a model of Spaceport, I guess they call it, the solar board that he had from the first scene. He kind of jerry-rigs it together in this scene with some propellant engine onto a metal piece of, the ship that resembles a glider. So the robot cyborg welds it together and he's like, oh, fuck it, it's good. Defying aerodynamics and astrophysics, Jim takes the board and launches it at the portal, and quickly losing power, he falls into another crevasse, almost to his death, and then igniting the board on a side of the wall, which is how that works, and then hits his molded foot pedal and shoots up out of the crust of the planet, and then goes directly towards the portal and hits the portal literally seconds before the ship goes through it. Oh my god, he's a Disney hero. He's so fast and so brave. He's such a good Disney princess. But goes through the portal and they go back to the spaceport and they blow up. Treasure Planet exploded. Exploding debris and rubble shatters behind them. So going back to the father, son, or uncle, nephew, whatever dynamic that you have. It's a little more than friends because the pirate's super old. But John Silver and Jim are now friends. The captain forces all the crew to go about their ways. And he takes one of those little ships off the main ship and is talking to Jim before he leaves, reinforcing that he's kind of the parental figure in Jim's life at that moment. So John gives him, he had a handful of gold and diamonds and stuff, and he hands it off to Jim so he can rebuild the inn that his mother runs. Which he can tell that Jim was never in it for the money, he was always in it for the adventure, and I think that John Silver's character realized that, and that's how he probably was when he was younger, just in it for the adventure, and then he got super greedy and obsessed, and then he eventually, brushed it off his shoulder and gave into a more gratitude side of things, giving Jim the money and the gold and the treasure, and then taking off. So he goes off into the galaxy on whatever quest that he has left in his life, and then Jim goes back to his mother, buys a complete new inn, and then everybody's happy, and Jim's a captain or a trainee in basically the Space Force, whatever they got, ready to make good upon his life and his mother. And then a really nice touch at the end of this movie was kind of like Lion King homage, I would say. And he looks up in the sky and you see silver, and then his twinkle of his eye is a star. It's pretty cool. So it's pretty awesome. In conclusion, Treasure Planet is a fresh take on the classic Treasure Island. As Disney revolutionizes meshing science fiction and fantasy once again. Also captivating its audience and giving us great characters. Some great voice performances. About as good as they do get. Next up, we got promos. So we got the Degenerate Zayak and his Unruly Adventures. The Kickstarter is live. Please go support the Kickstarter. Please go support the Kickstarter. I don't know how many times I've shared the page or shared the blurb and put it on different sites and whatnot. I've been really pushing for this. It's not very much money. It's really just for the printing of the issues. Everything else I'm taking care of. So please go support it. Claim your issue before they come out. So you get a very first issue of the Degenerate Zayak and the first printing of the same issue. So you know what's up. We also have on the Kickstarter Killers #1, which are printed and ready to go. You can order Killers #1 on the link, the tiny URL link we have if you just want the issue. Or you can go and support Zayak on Kickstarter. And one of the pledges is to order Killers #1 and Zayak. And the pledges keep going up. You can get a special commission pledge, which I'm only doing one of those. Only one lucky person will get that. Or you can get one with a specialized print, a limited run of Zayak prints, and you get the issue. If you don't know what a pledge is, you go on Kickstarter, and whichever amount of money you decide to donate to the project, you get that in return. So $1 gives you the support, and then $10 gives you the issue, etc., etc. There's about 6 different levels, so if you look on the pledges, you'll see those. But please go and support it. We have a lot of issues coming out next year to include Degenerate Zayak #2, Killers #2, and we are starting Asahi and Jack next year. So lots and lots of issues coming out. Degenerate Zayak will be an ongoing issue as well as the Killers. And then Asahi and Jack will be a 5-issue series. So please go check those out. We'll have more and more to come on ICI Core Comics page on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, etc. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, please do that. We have exclusive videos and content on there as well. Also, if you want 10% off on the store, use promo code ZIAC67, ZIAC67. We'll give you 10% off our store and 20% off ASC Supplements store for a limited time. Also in the comics, let me know what you think about Disney science fiction. I know there's an entire world of Disney science fiction to exclude Star Wars. Star Wars was doing their own thing with Lucasfilms before Disney owned them, so only exclusively Disney. Let me know what your favorite Disney science fiction flick is, or sci-fi fantasy, which this one kind of is. Let me know what you thought of Treasure Planet. What's your favorite pirate flick? What do you guys think? Also, let us know what you want to see. If you guys want me to review a special movie or a special book that you liked as a child growing up, let me know. As long as it stays in the realm of science fiction. Also, science fiction comics. Whatever you guys want to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. And this concludes episode 6 of Sci-Fi Sundays. Hope you guys enjoyed it as I did. One of my favorite Disney animated flicks for sure. It's probably top 10. A lot of good things in this one. If you haven't checked out Treasure Planet, if you've never seen it, please go check it out. It's a great movie. Great imagery. Even though it is animated, there's a lot of different things they tried, and it definitely paid out in a big way. So give it a look-see. It's pretty short. I think it was like an hour and a half, maybe a little bit over that. But it's pretty short. Some great voice acting in this one, and some great imagery and inventions and innovations. So yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. And that's all we got. Make sure you subscribe to get cryogenically frozen. Talk to you guys next week.
I can tell you from experience, it's only when your worst fears come true that you get to find out how strong you really are.